Hello, welcome, welcome. So forgive, first and foremost, the crappy lighting. I'm filming kind of late in the day, number one, but also my light decided to give out on me even though it hasn't been used in weeks. So bear with me, but welcome. Today we're going to talk about pace and pace of life. And the reason why this is on my brain is because there's this book that I love to check in with periodically to freshen up my coaching skills. It's called Coaching Questions, A Coach's Guide to Powerful Asking Skills. Really, even if you're not a coach, this is amazing. One, to self-coach yourself, and two, to be able to communicate better. There's just awesome questions in here that help me communicate with my clients better, really help them have breakthroughs, help them make progress toward what they want. Things just kind of click when you ask great questions. It doesn't seem like that should really do it, but it's amazing when you dig deep. That's what coaching is all about, is like me helping you dig deep beyond where your mind generally goes and asking you things that probe a bit further so that we can uncover where you're blocked. And as soon as certain blocks are removed, it's amazing how fast you can make progress from there. So anyway, I go to this book. It's by Tony Stutzfus. I'm totally butchering that. Stutzfus. If you're interested, I'm going to put the title and author's name in the bottom bar below. But every now and then I check on this book, and recently I came across a section of coaching questions that really intrigued me. In it, he is talking about self-care. And from self-care, he delves into stress and further into the concept of stress. One of the major factors that can impact one's stress is their pace of life. And so he has several questions about pace of life, which I really think I don't know that it's something that we consciously talk about, because there's so many things that can affect your pace. And this can be really revelatory, I think, in terms of helping us with our stress levels, especially as busy, kick-ass women on the go, doing multiple things, different businesses, jobs, creative passions, plus life, right? So I think it's interesting to factor in how pace can play a part. And so I guess I'll talk first about my where my head kind of goes with this first is that, so there is the pace of your environment where you live. Now, for me, in general, so put the environment where you live thing aside for a second. In general, I would like my pace of life to be a little bit slower than it is now, in the sense that I'd like to not be running around as much. And I think I know that is a big reason why one day I would love to work for myself full time, because I can set the rules about when I'm running around and when I'm not. I am an empath. I pick up on people's energies very easily. And as much as part of why, now I'm talking into environment, but as much as part of why I love my city, New York City, in case you didn't know already, I was going to say by the accent, but so part of why I love New York is the pace. I love that rush. I love that buzz. I love that go, go, go and hustle and I actually really love that, and I get energy from that, but I want to be selective about when I'm taking that on and moving around through the world. Like, it'd be awesome to not have or to be my own boss and to make my own schedule and not have to go on the train during rush hour. Because that's like when you see that in the airports, when you see like the ugliest of people. And I don't mean physically. I mean, in terms of like just people bringing out their bad side, because it can be stressful. The other thing about pace for me in my life is, if I worked for myself, in addition to being able to control how I'm moving through the world and in my city, because I'd only be working for me, I know that time would still get filled up quickly, that time that I'm not at a full-time day job. But I think I would be a lot less frazzled, because while there's always going to be stuff to do, the to-do list is never going to end. at least it's like I'm a little bit more laser focused now and I'm not dividing my time as much, and I get back a ton of it to focus on what I want to do and where I'm going with it. So I think that would help with my pace of life. So I realized that as much as I'm a city girl, I love a leisurely, slow pace. I like to create my own. I like a mix. You know, when I want to be hustle, go, 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 I want that. But like, other than that, I like to kind of go my own way and go at my own pace. I also crave being in nature, which slows down my pace and sense of time, which I'm going to get into some tips in a little bit about how you can, if you want to slow down your pace. It's always easy to speed up your pace if you're craving some adrenaline, but if you are looking to slow down your pace of life, I've got some tips coming up on that. But one day I plan on having a little beach house and or like lake woodsy situation. You know, one day when I'm rolling in it and making it rain. But these tips that I'm going to be sharing are smaller ways, you know, because yes, you can move. Like, again, I'm going to be moving to the Upper West Side soon, I believe. And I am choosing that neighborhood because I love how peaceful it is. A lot of people say, oh, but you seem like such a downtown girl. I'm like, really? Because I don't really feel like I am. I get what they mean because I'm artsy and creative and whatever, but I love being uptown, and then there's definitely stuff to do uptown and it can be buzzing, but you know, I get what they mean in that there's a lot. It's a little bit, it can be a bit younger downtown, and there's just more going on, more to do. I'd rather like go there when I want and then go back to my nice quiet like brownstone lined street and zen out. So that's one way that I'm deciding. I am consciously choosing my pace based on my neighborhood, or choosing the neighborhood based on the pace rather. So that is one way that you can too. It's like things like looking at your life in terms of where you live. These are the big ways. Looking at where you live, looking at what job you have in what field, and what you do within that, and is there potential to work from home? You know, maybe if you're somebody who likes more routine and a calmer pace, you don't want to have a job where you have to travel all the time. And if it just so happens that what you love to do requires you to travel all the time, well, then maybe you have to look into some of the smaller ways and other ways in which you can slow down your pace. Even maybe while you travel, there are ways to slow down your pace if you're creative about it. So I want to get into, before I actually, no, you know what? Sorry, I'm all over the place, guys. I kind of just wrote this, and so I'm just going down the list of my points in an order that I'm choosing right now. So here are some smaller ways while I'm on that topic to slow down your pace, if that is what your soul is longing for right now. One, be in nature. So actually, let me preface by saying that all these things really have to do with mindfulness. Just being really present and alert to what's going on around you, and also being clear on like why you're rushing in the first place, potentially, if you are rushing. So be in nature. When we're in nature, we automatically, I find this for myself all the time, I kind of lose sense of time, especially when I'm at the beach, especially if I'm like on a hike or on a long walk. And I almost, even if I'm thinking of, oh wow, it feels like a lot of time's gone by, I don't really care all that much because I'm so blissed out. So I think being in nature is a way to slow down your pace. Another way is to stop multitasking. I have a job as an executive assistant / office manager, and at that job, it can be very hard not to multitask. It's kind of the nature of the position in a way, but whenever I can, I only multitask when it's truly necessary. Whenever I can, I really like to focus in on one thing at a time, do it really well, be in the flow of it, and then move on to the next. So really try, if you can help it, to not multitask. We think we're getting more done, but often we're not, because our brains are firing off in a million different directions, rather than if you just concentrated on one, you can get through that so much more quickly. I know we've heard that a million times, but if you haven't really tried it yet, please try it now, because that will absolutely slow down your pace rather than feeling like you're scatterbrained, you know? Another thing is to get in the flow. So whether it's something that you love doing or something that maybe you have to do for work that you don't enjoy so much, or like cleaning the apartment or whatever, get into the flow of it. See if you can, instead of being like, especially if it's something you don't like, begrudgingly going through it like, oh, this sucks. See if you can actually kind of just let that go and just focus on the task at hand. You're sweeping the floor. Focus on sweeping the floor. Count how many sweeps you're doing. Just really get into what you're doing. And this is a form of meditation. So meditation doesn't have to be all and like whatever. You're just being mindful. You're just focusing. And when you really focus on one thing, that is how you can get into the flow. And that is where time kind of stands still around you, even if just for a little bit, and your pace can slow down. Ask what you're in such a hurry for. This is like a little conversation with yourself. Like, why am I rushing? If it's because you're running late, it's like, well, why am I running late? Or am I always late? Well, what's that about? Unravel from there. But really try to see, like, why am I rushing around? Why am I so anxious to get up from the subway car and like get off at my stop? And like, why does it have to be like that? Even if you're in a fast-paced city, yes, there are some things, okay, like having your Metro card ready, that I fully believe in. But there's certain aspects of city living, for example, that there are ways to slow things down if you want to. You don't have to just get caught up in the hype of other people. Okay, slowing down to speed up, aka take more breaks. Taking more breaks can rejuvenate you in ways that you couldn't have predicted, and it can help you get work done faster when you come back to it. It can, you're giving your mind and soul and body time to rest, and when you're out doing whatever else you're doing, whether it's going for a walk or calling a friend or reading or whatever it is, your brain is open to new ideas and to new things that have nothing to do with whatever it is you were working on. So again, you can get away. It's okay to take breaks. In fact, it's really going to help you be more productive. I promise. This is hard for somebody like me to believe. I constantly have to remind myself to do this, but almost every time I do this, I do find it really helps. And I also feel like I'm being less of a martyr. Like I'm not making these stupid, I just like grinded all night. I worked so hard and I just ran myself ragged. Screw that. I don't want to run myself ragged. Like I want to enjoy my life and enjoy my work. So I'm going to take this break and I'm just going to get away for a second. And I know that I have the will to come back and complete what I did. So it's always beneficial. And again, it just helps with kind of not doing everything at such a rapid, like, gotta go, come on, let's get it done, in that kind of way. Get off social media and stop watching the news. Have pockets of time where you do that. If you want to do those things, great. But don't make it like this thing that you got to keep looking at. You got to keep checking. There are times, I think I've said this before, that I say, I'm on Facebook and I'm like, okay, like, let's get off this thing. And then it could be a minute later and I find myself on my phone going to the app again. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? There is literally, what are you checking for? There is literally nothing to check. It's an addiction, y'all. It really is. And the drama of the news can be too. So choose selectively when you want to do those things and for how long, and let them go, okay? Take more mini vacations. So this is another way to be really mindful and just having a little escape from your routine, because I love routines, but I think routines can really speed our lives. It's weird. They speed our lives up in a way, but also they can feel like they're this like staple that helps sort of ground you and make time richer. Like I know my morning coffee with a book, a magazine, I don't necessarily feel like that speeds my life up, but it's one of those things where if you look back, it's like days and days and weeks have gone by and you're like, what have I done? I don't even know what I've done. But when you take little mini vacations, and this is something I think Gretchen Rubin, the author of The Happiness Project, just talked about recently. The Happiness Project and many other books, by the way, just shortening that. She talked about this recently, and it's so true. I need to go take a one-day trip to Bear Mountain or, I don't know, wherever else. In the summer, it was the beach. And it really helps to slow down time when you break away from your everyday routines. Stop looking for drama. This was a last-minute addition that I thought of, like, where are you looking for drama in your life? Where are you picking a fight with somebody that you don't need to be picking? Even if this is like low-key drama, like not crazy drama, but just, you know, where are you being a pain in the ass where you don't need to be? Who are you liking or feeling, you know, in a romantic way that you don't need to be? Stuff like that. What kind of like stories are you creating about your coworkers? Like, oh, they're so annoying and like, oh, I can't stand this. Just like, stop looking for drama, because those things are, sometimes we just want like this adrenaline rush. And I think that has a lot to do with why we do look for drama. Again, even if it's not crazy, crazy drama, but on a smaller scale. I think we just want that adrenaline rush. If you're looking to speed up your pace of life, I guess go for that. But you're also probably not going to be very happy, because drama isn't really something that increases happiness. But if you are looking to just have things slow down a bit, just stop causing problems. Don't stir the pot. All right. Those are my tips, my smaller ways to slow down your pace of life. And I am going to run through some of the questions that this man, Tony Stutzfus, of this book that I was talking about, Coaching Questions, A Coach's Guide to Powerful Asking Skills, talks about in this part of the book about pace. So he asks a question, and I'm going to put these in the bottom bar too, because I think that these can be just brilliant to help you get to the root of just why you feel like everything is just moving so quickly and you feel a bit frantic in your life, perhaps, if you do. So I'll put them down below, but I'll read them as well right now. So the first question is, what would it be like if you were still experiencing this kind of stress a year from now? How about 3 years? Let's try to get in touch with what your emotions are saying to you. Pull out your date book or your task list and let your feelings surface as you scan it. What emotions bubble up? So these two questions are like trying to get you in this place of like, oh, I don't want to take this stress anymore. It's a burden. I see this going down a bad path. I want to change. And then, what is your body saying about your pace? Are you ready to face each day, or is it tough to roll out of bed? What physical signs do you need to pay attention to? So like, you know, fast heartbeat or stomach hurts or whatever. Oops, my battery's dying. Okay. And what are the people close to you saying about your pace and your schedule? It's kind of an interesting one. What do you think they'd like you to hear? What do they want to tell you about it? And then, what do you gain from living an adrenaline-fueled lifestyle? What is driving you that causes you to keep choosing this pace and stress level? It's making me laugh because I'm just picturing myself like barreling down city sidewalks, like, oh, let's go. Oh my God, can we move a little faster? Like I literally talk out loud sometimes. It's kind of, and I think in my head it's sort of comical. Like I'm just this crazy lady that's just like, let's move. But it's really not. Well, maybe a little. It is kind of funny, but it's also like, I'm spurring that on. First of all, I am usually running late. So that's something I am constantly addressing with myself, but also I'm just making it worse. Even if I am in a rush to get somewhere, it's like I am now just causing all this turmoil inside of me by like being so aggressive when I walk down the sidewalk or barrel down the sidewalk. And then the last question that's related to pace directly is, what would your ideal pace look like? Describe a day or week lived at this pace. I love these kinds of questions and action items like describe a day or week lived at this pace, because you get to just go off in fantasy land, type out, write out, whatever, what your ideal day or week at such and such pace is. And you get to just dream and forget all of what your reality is right now, because you get to create your reality. But forget all that for now. Just what do you want? And when you look at that and you get really honest with yourself about what you want, that's where you can start creating that life. You chose this life. But if what you want is something different, then you can have that. You might have to be creative about how you get it, but you can have that. So anyway, those are the questions. This is the video. This took longer than I thought it would, but I hope you gained something from it. Look at your pace of life. Where might you want it to be tweaked? And until next time, I will catch you later. Bye.